Hey everyone, we got some big news out of Ford that also impacts Tesla and Rivian. So in this video, I'm going to review the latest developments out of Ford and discuss what it could mean for Ford stock investors, Tesla stock investors, and Rivian stock investors. So without further ado, let's take a look at what the latest news was.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So Ford issued a statement on January 19th saying that it's going to add a third crew to meet demand for Bronco and Ranger, but that's going to come at the expense of reducing F-150 Lightning production, its EV F-150. So Ford will create nearly 900 new jobs and add a third crew at Michigan assembly plant to increase production of the popular Bronco and Bronco Raptor sport utility vehicles and the all-new Ranger and Ranger Raptor pickups. And this is interesting because this comes on the back of the recent agreement with the worker union that increased wages for Ford and GM and the legacy automakers here in the US, which made it more attractive for employees, right? They're getting much better wages, and Ford should have no difficulty in attracting these workers. Recently, Tesla also said that it would be raising wages for its workers in the US because they've got to compete in a competitive labor market where there's shortages everywhere. If Ford and GM and Stellantis are offering better wages and Tesla doesn't keep up with those wages, it risks losing its workers to these legacy automakers. So here's an example of that: Ford adding 900 new jobs to create an increased supply of the Bronco and the Ranger, which are selling really, really well. That can't be said for the F-150 Lightning. So Ford is reducing production of the F-150 Lightning again. This is the second time in about 2 months that it's reduced the production for the F-150 Lightning. And this is the top selling electric pickup in the US. And it's doing this to achieve a better balance of production, sales growth, and profitability. Ford expects continued growth in global EV sales in 2024, though less than anticipated, and is preparing to launch next generation EVs. And I might sound like a broken record by now, but for a little over a year, I've been talking about on this channel that demand for EVs is not strong. It's not strong at all. Supply, however, has been increasing way more than demand is increasing. And so the market is out of balance right now. There's too much supply coming into the market and not enough demand, not enough growth in demand to match with that supply. That's why you're seeing all of these price wars with Tesla and the others, and you're seeing this mismatch and you're seeing increased inventory on dealership lots. It's taking longer to sell these EVs because there's too much supply. And think about it. This is with all of the government incentive, mandates, restrictions, all of that, and still demand for EVs is not there. So imagine if a new administration comes in, if a Republican administration comes in, and we've known that the Republican administrations are not as keen as shifting to these next generation vehicles. If they roll back some of these mandates or if they push out some of these mandates, imagine what that will do for EV demand that's already struggling. So I think Ford here, it's been out of all of the automakers, I think Ford has been one of the most prudent in it's not just trying to force and increase EV production when demand is not there. And this is another example of that, saying, look, demand isn't there for EVs. So we're going to reduce production of these and we're going to make more of these extremely lucrative Broncos and Rangers, which have been boosting our profitability. We'll still make some of these F-150 Lightnings because there's still some demand for that. But we're not going to put all our eggs in that basket when consumers don't want these. They don't want these as much as they want the Broncos and the Rangers. And so I think this is a prudent move for Ford here. I think it's a smart balance of its production. So Ford was already number 2 best-selling electric vehicle brand in 2023, and the F-150 Lightning is America's best-selling electric truck, with sales up 55% in 2023 and further growth forecast for 2024. So it's going to grow, but it's just not going to grow at as fast a rate as it was previously. So interestingly, Rivian, in its latest quarterly update of its production and delivery, Rivian's stock price fell because the company produced more than it delivered. Its production hit 57,232 delivered and delivered only 50,122. So there was a gap of about 7,000 there. Even though this did exceed management's guidance for 54,000 vehicles in 2023, Rivian was one of the better performing EV companies in 2023 in that it raised its production target twice for the year and then even exceeded that higher estimate. However, the stock price took a big hit because it produced more than it delivered, which could signal that customer demand is not as strong for Rivian either. And Rivian, also remember, they sell an SUV, but they also sell that electric pickup truck. And so if Ford is saying that demand for its electric truck is not strong, what does that say about Rivian, which sells into that same market? So Rivian only has 3 models. And so if one of its 3 models are not selling well, that does not bode well for Rivian. And there's a second reason why it's not good news here, which I'll touch upon as well. Tesla in 2023, its vehicle deliveries grew 38% to 1.81 million, while production grew 35% to 1.85 million. Of course, the big news out of Tesla is the Cybertruck, which is now available for sale. And if demand for trucks, electric vehicle trucks, is not strong, what does that say about Cybertruck, right? I've made a forecast of what I think Cybertruck deliveries would be in 2024. And given this newer data from Ford and the second production cut from Ford, I'm thinking I would revise my target lower for Tesla's Cybertruck average selling price. Now, I'm confident that Tesla will still sell over 100,000 Cybertrucks in 2024. That's, it has 125,000 max capacity for 2024. So over 100,000 would be almost at its maximum. But I think it's going to require lower prices for Tesla to sell those 100,000 units because Ford, it has indicated that demand is not strong yet. Also, another reason why this is not good news for Rivian or Tesla is because Ford not only is signaling that demand is low for these electric trucks, but it's also increasing production of Bronco and Ranger. So that gives customers more option, more choices for different vehicles that are higher in demand. So they're going to choose the Bronco and the Ranger when they're out looking for a car to buy and it's available and it's at a price that's more or less, lower than the Rivian or the Cybertruck, then that's going to take some customers away from Rivian and Tesla. I know it's a different market, but remember in 2020, in 2021, in 2022, many buyers of cars purchased EVs mainly because they couldn't find internal combustion engine vehicles available. Supply was severely constrained. And so they looked around and whatever was available, oh, these EVs are available. Let's just buy it because we can't buy these other cars. They're not available. And we need to get to work. So let's buy these other cars. And now that supply of these internal combustion engine vehicles are rising again and growing, that will pull back some of those on the fence buyers who are like, do I get an EV? Do I get an ICE car? Now that supply is increasing, those incremental buyers that are on the margin, they're more likely now to go over to these internal combustion engine cars. Already more than 9 out of 10 consumers, when they have a choice of which type of car to buy, they choose an internal combustion engine. If supply is increasing even more, that's going to make the choice even more in favor of internal combustion engine. So rough news for the EV industry overall and for Rivian and Tesla in particular, because they have the electric trucks that they're trying to sell into the market in 2024. I'm still confident that Tesla will exceed over 100,000 unit sales of the Cybertruck in 2024, although that might require more price cuts. And Rivian, I think demand for Rivian is still strong, although the growth won't be as strong in 2024 as it was in 2023. If you liked the video you just saw and you want to see more just like it, please subscribe to the channel. I can't keep this channel free without the support of viewers like you. And if you're already subscribed, thank you, and I appreciate your support.